Good morning, everyone. I'm Shingo Oidate with my colleague, Nogi, Kazuma Nogi. We are excited to share our journey today. Our session title is From Silos to Co-Creation, Mitsubishi Electric's inner source journey across diverse domains. I've been with Mitsubishi Electric for many years, mainly working in software R&D. Since this year, I have been leading the open source and InnerSource Program Office to promote open collaboration across the company. As this is our first year as an OSPO, I've been speaking at some event, and today's summit is one of the key highlights. Nogi and I belong to the different corporate group under Mitsubishi Electric. He's in the corporate R&D group. Our OSPO is in the corporate manufacturing engineering group. Our KPI is reducing development lead time. In the bottom right corner, you can see our OSPO's mascot, a tuna. Tuna symbolizes agility, and it is always moving forward, never stopping. So, next, I'd like to explain two roles of our OSPO. The first role is promoting inner source. This means building an internal community and gathering code and knowledge, know-how, into shared repository to attract developers. We are creating a modern development environment. The second role is promoting open source. We are working with community like Linux Foundation and enhancing engineers' skill through collaboration. In addition, we also manage security and risk across open source use company-wide. We promote inner source and open source together because their missions are synergetic with each other. This table shows scope, inner source to open source, and objectives individual to product and corporate value. We started from lower left step by engaging with open source community. We learned co-creation know-how. Then we moved to upper, where we launched our inner source community to foster an open co-creation culture and enhance developer experience within the company. Now we are transitioning toward the upper right step, where we aim to create business synergies through co-creation and reduce development lead time by avoiding same work across different domains. In this next slide, I'd like to show you the growth of our inner source community. It has grown to over 700 engineers on GitHub, over 1,400 members on Microsoft Teams. As you can see, participation and growth rate is rising. And these include projects such as Serendie platforms, robot platforms, and factory automation controller project. This momentum proves that inner source is now becoming part of our company culture. Inner source is about breaking down organizational silos. In conglomerate companies, these silos tend to be much deeper than in single business companies. So why are silos so deep in conglomerate? Let's think about that for a moment. In a single business company, some executives and company staffs often share common experience. They understand the domain, and as a result, decisions can be unified across the company. This makes it easier to promote company-wide initiatives that go beyond individual department. However, in conglomerate like us, executives and corporate staff come from diverse domains and often lack understanding of other domains. As a result, cross-domain initiatives occur only when domains are willing to participate. Silos in conglomerates are deep due to complexity and domain autonomy. In a conglomerate company, what is fundamental barrier to fulfilling the mission of OSPO? Executives expect cross-domain synergy, conglomerate premium, and 50% shorter development lead time. Some shared common platforms succeed, but adoption remained very limited, and several initiatives stop midway. Today, many of these efforts are reminded as failures. And that brings us to our current concern. If we're not careful, InnerSource could face similar situation. And sharing code alone may not be enough to create the full synergy. Moreover, the memories of past troubles make people feel negative about the new initiatives. But we have to ask ourselves, were those failures truly failures? I believe those efforts were not failures. They actually created value, not through a common platform, common libraries, but through discussions that generated valuable insights. That is why we are now taking a new approach to cross-domain collaboration. We now define the value of co-creation by how much knowledge is shared and used across domains. Challenge sharing clearly exists in many areas. For example, reducing development lead time with generative AI. InnerSource goes beyond code sharing. Challenge and approach sharing are recognized as value and connects insight openly across domains. To make this possible, we rely on open co-creation platforms like GitHub and generative AI tools such as GitHub Copilot that help individuals gain knowledge easily. In short, collaboration is not just about sharing code, it's about sharing knowledge. Let's think a bit more about knowledge sharing. Here, I would like to show one simple diagram. On this diagram, the vertical axis represents the level of value created through sharing. We believe this value grows as the knowledge becomes more concrete. On the other hand, the horizontal axis shows the number of possible cases. Now, let's go through the 3 layers from bottom to top. At the bottom layer is challenge sharing. This means sharing and verbalizing common challenges. For example, we want to shift from a component sales business model to a stock business model, like subscription model. The next layer is approach sharing. This means sharing ideas or methods to solve those challenges. For example, to achieve that stock business model, using software-defined technology to provide continuous value. The top layer is implementation sharing. This means sharing actual code or design assets. For example, platform or protocols or software updates that enable software-defined. Sharing implementations across domains is often difficult. So that's why even sharing challenges and approaches can still create significant value. Now, let's see how these layers work when different domains collaborate. This model is called the InnerSource Value Co-creation Model, or simply IVCM. In the IVCM, we recognize that when 2 domains collaborate, there are limits to the value that can be created across the layers. Here is a conceptual diagram. This is a bird's view representation. On the horizontal vertical axis, horizontal and vertical axis, we plot different domains. For example, Y1, Y2, X1, X2 represent specific business domains, such as energy, railway, air conditioning, or factory automation. Okay. So in this diagram, the relationship between domains determines how much value can be created. For example, domain Y1 and Y2, Y1 and X1 are too different. So even challenge sharing cannot create value. Between Y2 and X2, challenge and approach sharing building value, and without implementation sharing. And between Y2 and X1, value can be created through all three sharing. This means that when domains are closer, collaboration can create more value. This depends on the type of challenge. In some cases, such as case 1, the value spreads widely, even to the implementation level. For example, an internal tool that uses generative AI to automatically create meeting notes, like that. The key message here is that even if collaboration does not reach the implementation layers, there is still important value created through challenge and approach sharing. By recognizing this, we can see co-creation in a wider way. These early steps are not unfinished, but useful stages of collaboration that drive innovation across diverse domains. Now, let's take a look at this diagram from the side view. The horizontal axis shows combination of domains, and the vertical axis shows potential value. In the past, we sometimes judged success only by implementation sharing. Even when challenge and approach sharing had already succeeded, like in the case of domain Y2 and X2, the collaboration was labeled as a failure because the teams couldn't reach the implementation layer. But in the IBCM, we take a different view. We aim to maximize and visualize the value created even at the challenge and approach layers. Implementation sharing creates the highest value, but the range of applicable domains is narrowest. But in the IBCM, we need a platform that allows people to access various knowledge across different domains. Our R&D division is now developing this kind of platform. Today, as part of this initiative, Nogi will introduce a particular example. Our effort to build a collaborative portal that supports InnerSource access across the entire company.
Thank you, Oidate-san. OSPO outlined IVCM. From here, I'll share a practical journey with InnerSource Portal using Backstage, the technical foundation for IVCM. From here, firstly, let me introduce myself. I work on IT service operations, focusing on SRE and platform engineering. Previously, I developed autonomous driving systems and those testing environments. And I joined R&D division, where I'm now applying my experience to the platform engineering. Our R&D division partners with OSPO from a technical perspective. While OSPO focuses on program management and governance and community building, we concentrate on technical enablement. Specifically, we focuses on automation and guardrails, and building infrastructure that makes InnerSource frictionless for engineers. So think of us as a platform team for InnerSource. Now let's move on to the main topic. When we first began sharing code, we had a challenge familiar to many large enterprises. Hundreds of existing InnerSource repositories scattered across divisions with no easy way to discover them. For instance, an engineer in Division A couldn't easily find relevant code from Division B. Project managers couldn't attract contributors from other teams, and OSPO couldn't demonstrate the value being created from across the organization. We had the infrastructure, GitHub Enterprise, but we lacked discoverability and connection layer. So we stepped back and analyzed our stakeholders and their pain points. Engineers, including myself, were wasting hours searching for code that might already exist somewhere. And project managers overseeing repositories couldn't effectively showcase their project to attract contributors from other divisions. OSPO needed concrete ways to measure and demonstrate the InnerSource value to leadership. And management wanted to achieve cross-business synergy, our conglomerate premium, through cross-divisional collaboration. These pain points represented a systematic gap that existing tools like GitHub alone, Slack, and Teams couldn't freely address. Before we designed our solution, we looked to proven patterns. The InnerSource Commons community provides InnerSource patterns. Patterns like InnerSource Portal and Gig Marketplace that directly address these challenges. And of course, we studied implementations. Bandai Namco in Japan built Backstage-based portal for multi-repository management and asset sharing. Airbus migrated from a simple portal to Backstage for extensibility. These examples validated our direction. We needed a portal, and it needed to be extensible. Through our stakeholder analysis and studies, we realized that InnerSource portal evolves through 3 distinct phases. And this framework can be said to view IVCM from how perspective. Phase 1 is discovery. This phase focuses on cataloging all technical assets, mapping skills and expertise, and helping people find collaboration opportunities. The core question is, what exists and who's working on it? The second phase is connection. This phase enables cross-divisional matching, forming project-based teams, what we call gigs, and spreading the InnerSource mindset. The question becomes, how do I connect with the right people? The final phase, collaboration, provides project management tools, contribution visibility for incentives, and governance automation. The question is, how do we work together effectively? We are currently focused on phase 1 with phase 2 and 3 features in our backlog. Then we started with our proof of concept using SAP's implementation, which also referenced in InnerSource patterns. This gave us 2 critical benefits. First, we could deploy quickly and validate interest. And second, employees without GitHub Enterprise license could still discover and explore our repositories. But as the team engaged with it, they wanted more, a better search, project health indicators, and contact information. While POC validated interest, we needed something more extensible as expected. This led us to Backstage, the internal developer platform framework from Spotify, now a CNCF project. We chose Backstage for 3 reasons. First, extensibility. It's plugin architecture means we can start with the software catalog and add features incrementally. Second is community. There is a thriving ecosystem of plugins and a proven track record in large enterprises. And third, active development. Backstage is frequently updated and well maintained by the community. It's reliable, and we'd love to contribute it. Like Evers, we recognize the Backstage's extensibility was essential to provide features we need for our organization. But to deliver phase 1 discovery and enable IVCM, we built a customized software catalog. Backstage typically expects repositories to have catalog info.yaml, but we had hundreds of existing repositories owned by different teams with no such files. Asking everyone to add metadata immediately wasn't realistic, so we built a custom entity provider that generates the catalog automatically from our GitHub environment. This approach also let us add custom properties matter to our organization, contact information, activity scores, and project business domain tags. And we then customize the front end to surface these properties naturally. It's a software catalog tailored specifically for Mitsubishi Electric's InnerSource environment. Then we deployed a customized Backstage portal as a containerized application on our AWS account. It's now accessible to all employees. And of course, the infrastructure and application code for this portal are themselves InnerSourced within our GitHub. So, where are we today? Phase 1 discovery is now live. Engineers can browse our catalog, see activity levels, and find contacts across divisions. We are currently gathering feedback and planning phase 2 features, team matching, and project recruitment boards. And phase 3, which focuses on collaboration, remains in our backlog. So from a technical perspective, we've built a customized Backstage portal that makes InnerSource discoverable and accessible across Mitsubishi Electric. This is a technical foundation for IVCM. So I'll hand it back to OSPO for summary. Thank you. Back to you, Oidate-san.
Okay, now I'd like to show how we generative AI to make InnerSource knowledge easier to access. In our InnerSource platform, we collect not only source code, but also natural language knowledge from many GitHub enterprise repositories, commit logs, issues, and pull requests. These are converted into Markdown and stored in one aggregated repository, which is set as a lag target inside GitHub Copilot spaces. As a result, developers can now interact freely with GitHub Copilot chat. In short, this system turns out InnerSource into a living knowledge base where information flows seamlessly between people, code, and AI. Here is the sample, simple example. A developer might ask, is knowledge related to line tracing technology for mobile robots being shared within the InnerSource environment? Copilot immediately identified the right repositories and summarize its contents. Even with hundreds of projects, engineers can now find useful knowledge in seconds without extra effort. This is how generative AI transforms InnerSource into an interactive knowledge ecosystem, like this. Next, let's see how all these pieces connect, or what we call the InnerSource stack for co-creation. The executives expect cut the development lead time by half and create innovation through synergy across diverse domains. To achieve the above goals, the concept of IVCM is essential. As concrete actions to realize IVCM, it is necessary to build InnerSource platform and communities. The InnerSource portal is one of the InnerSource platforms and realize IVCM through 3 phases. In addition, the platform provides functions that promote knowledge sharing by leveraging generative AI. Now, let's move to the conclusion. Today, we introduce the InnerSource value co-creation model. In a conglomerate company, co-creation should go beyond implementation sharing. It must also include challenge and approach sharing. We believe this idea also applies to single business companies. Going forward, we will continue to maximize and visualize the value of all 3 layers, aiming for 50% reduction in development lead time. I look forward to learning from the many sessions and discussions throughout this summit and to exploring together how we can shape the future of co-creation. Thank you.